Hello, everybody. Matthew from therighttrader.com back again with another stock market video live stream today. We have a lot to talk about. I haven't done one of these for the stock market in a while. And as always, I'm here to answer any and all of your questions about many different stock out there. Okay, so if you have questions about Apple stock, Tesla, we'll cover that in this video. Google was a big one today. It had very bad news with their live AI showcase fail that they had, and their stock dropped 7%. This was kind of front page news here today for many stocks out there. So big stuff going on with that. Google falling 7% in a day. That's pretty big news. Actually, the rest of the market fell a decent amount here. NASDAQ down 1.6%. Although the NASDAQ has been performing very well here. So a lot of stuff going on. Some stocks performing very well. Some stocks crumbling down, but we're going to talk about the S&P 500 here. I want everybody to say hi in the stream. And I really want to do this stream based on what you all want to see. So if there's anything specifics, if you have any specific questions you want me to answer regarding the S&P or anything out there that has to do with stocks, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'll answer. Hi Naz, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream, everybody. Hit that like button before we get started, and we're going to jump right into it. So this is going to be a stock market specific stream covering multiple stocks, any stocks you want me to do an analysis on, and of course just the general stock market and the S&P 500, what's been kind of going on, right? So first off, we have the S&P 500 chart here. Now, one thing that is very important to know is on this most recent pump higher, we did in fact break out of our long-term downtrend. Okay, so that is pretty huge actually. And now the question is this going to hold? Are we really going to manage to stay above this, or are we going to fall back down lower? There is some bullish stuff going on with stocks compared to in the past few months, right, with everything that the Fed has been doing, but I am still kind of doubting if this can really hold. Now right off the bat here, we had this open gap over here, okay? And in fact, what's interesting with this open gap is we didn't close it just yet. And by the way, for those who are kind of confused, I'm referring to this open gap right over here. This open gap has not been closed yet. We were under it a few days ago. But I think that with the strength that the market has seen, we're probably going to fully close this gap. Okay, so that gap is right around $420. And what's looking interesting here is, since we're so close from that, right, that can happen within the next 2-3 weeks. We should close that gap. And right after that, I'm afraid we are going to fall pretty quickly lower again here for stocks. Few reasons for that. First off, you'll notice that I'd actually previously drawn out, the potential for consolidation here in this range, which we actually had, several weeks of that, but now we broke out of it. Now for stocks, unlike crypto, okay, it's very rare for them to not respect technical patterns, meaning that an early breakout here out of a flag pattern or triangle pattern is very rare for stocks. So that leads me to believe that we're just going higher to close this gap, and then we're going to fall right back down into this range. In fact, if you saw my technical analysis for some stocks out there like Apple and Microsoft, I said that we could literally see a 50% plus drop on both those stocks. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but there is really a lot of shines on the stock market charts that have not fallen as much as crypto, that they could actually fall tremendously here. Now, I'm zooming out because back in the past, I'd already done a pretty in-depth analysis on the S&P, and I want to show you all some of the levels that I had spotted as being, possible to be hit again, okay? And these are substantially lower than the current price. So, for example, we have, our first major support level at $232. Now, of course, we have this $363 support level, but basically right after that, $338, and then we're pretty much falling almost down to $300. So the fall could be quite rapid here. Now, from the all-time high on the S&P, we are up, we're down 14%, okay? That's considered about a minor pullback for the stock market, okay? At the peak, we were down about 25%. It's still not that much, okay? This is not full-blown crash territory yet, but the question is, can we head towards there? And there are a lot of signs pointing towards that answer being yes. Now, towards my first level here, you'll notice a 50% drop. Now, yes, a 50% drop for the S&P 500 for the US stock market is, of course, enormous, okay? But I want us to balance this out with, if we go back historically here, and we, for example, take a look at what I had done with Apple and Microsoft, which was the dot-com bubble, for example, right? That was, for the stock market, on the dot, a 50% drop, okay? And this is why hopefully you watch this channel, because I'm giving you stuff that no other channel on YouTube talks about. So make sure to smash that like button. Same thing on this drop here. This is the 2008 market crash. Guess what? We actually outdid it a little bit. We did 56%. So when I tell you that we could reach our target level of right over here, right, from the high down to $232, 50% drop, there is no reason why that's not possible, okay? Especially after seeing the largest bull market in stock market history right here, okay? You also need to keep in mind that the S&P has outperformed substantially its normal averages, right? In the last 3 to 5 years, the stock market has gone up way more than 6% a year. And that's substantially above average. We know that the major indexes usually respect the averages, right? So that is also something to keep in mind. Could we fall lower than $232? Well, I marked out some levels, okay? Some potential levels as low as $150. But to be honest, based on the previous drops back here, okay? So we're referring to the 2008 drop and the 2008 drop. I think that $232 is the most realistic peak bottom, okay? We could go a little bit lower like we saw in 2008 where we saw that 56% drop. It could go down to this $214 level. That would kind of bring us where we were at 2008 in the similar drop area. Anything more than that becomes quite unlikely, to be honest. We do have a base of support there. I think a reasonable target is going to be that $232 to $215, okay? I'm sorry if this is shocking to you, but I just showed you how twice before, okay, we got these drops, and very important here, on each of these drops, okay, the S&P had not moved up as much as it had this most recent time. So, the reason why I'm saying, yeah, there is that slight chance that we could even see a bigger drop than these past two drops is because we outperformed so much here. Compared to the first two run-ups, okay? So hopefully that gave you a good baseline on kind of what to expect on the stock market. And I'll pull up the Apple chart here real quick because I did a whole video talking about Apple, so make sure to go check that out. But just to show you for Apple stock, right, where some of our gaps are, we are looking at, of course, logically here from the high, basically from what I could tell, at least going down to somewhere between $75 to $60, which is about a 58 to 66% drop, right? So if the general stock market is about to fall 50% or is gonna fall 50%, would not be surprising for Apple to drop maybe 55 65%. That would still be considered normal within the range that the actual market itself, the overall market itself, would drop. Okay, let's go ahead and take out Google since it's been front page news today. We'll look at it. And see what's going on. So let's see, Google here. There we go. Okay, so looking at the Google chart, we can see that Google has already fallen substantially here, okay? Which is why I'm saying, right, people are seeing stocks like Tesla and even Google here, for example, dropping so much substantially, and then they think that it's impossible for it to happen to Apple. Well, that's not the case, right? Historically, that hasn't been the case, and it's not looking like it's going to be the case now because realistically, right, during the peak of the bull market, if you were to say that Google was just going to drop 33% in a matter of months, no one would have believed you. Yet it happened, right? And this is one of the strongest stocks in the entire stock market. So you can see that this is already a pretty rough drop, okay? We're actually at 45% almost peak bottom. And now we bounced a bit, but we are dropping immediately back down again. Okay, down 8% today based on the ChatGPT news. Google is at risk of being its core business being damaged or being literally destroyed by ChatGPT. And now investors in Google are on edge, right? They're selling at any sign of that. So huge drop. And I didn't look at the index chart, but I'll go ahead and do that with you all now. to really see, just how low can Google drop here. We know that fundamentally now it's not as strong as it once was. I'm just scanning for any open gaps. Interesting enough, there are not that many open gaps on the Google chart, which is actually a good sign, right? Because it means that it was a more steady rise. We have a drop over here, an open gap at $13, I believe. Actually, that might not. Yeah, it looks like we do have a small open gap here at $13. Of course, this is very, 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 very low. I'm not confident that we're necessarily going to see $13 Google stock anytime soon. But, based on just the technicals, for example, I think a pretty logical area for the stock to go back down towards is going to be this $75, $77 area. Several reasons for that, right? It seems to be a zone of confluence. We had a previous open gap here. We had, a bit of a gap here. And just in general, right, in this area, you can see that it's been a resistance level and a support level. Okay, so a lot of confluence in this area right here. This is the type of stuff that you don't see on other channels, right? We do have even more support lower, which means that we're not very likely to go, below $50 or even $60. But hitting the $75 area, especially after reaching as low as $80 and now being back below $100, seems quite likely. Okay, that would be a peak drop of right on the dot 50%. So right in line with what I think is going to happen with the S&P here. And let me see some of your comments. Naz is asking about a BTC prediction, 25K plus, or since it looks weak, we're going to go to 21 or 20K. I'll cover that in the crypto live stream, Naz. But thank you for that comment. I think he's asking about Snapchat stock as well. Let me know if that's the case. Also, smash that like button, everybody. I want to get to over 5 likes here. Hi, Blue. Hi. Welcome back to the streams. He's saying nice to see videos other than crypto. Yes, of course. I do plan on making other videos regarding precious metals, stocks, etc., not just crypto. So, of course, this channel is a general finance channel, right? Meaning that, yes, it has been a focus on crypto, but I've always covered stocks, and also gold and silver is something I want to start doing more of to give you really the best overall guide on the financial markets right now, right? Hopefully, if possible. Keep in mind, none of this is financial advice, just all based on my own personal experience. I've been trading for years now, I believe almost a decade now. So let me know any other stocks you want me to do an analysis on here. Let's go ahead and check out Tesla stock. This has been a very interesting one because it has been a stock that has refound a large amount of strength. And actually, we have not finished pulling back just yet. I'm on the weekly chart right now. You can see a huge amount of green candles, a green buying volume. But let's go ahead and move over to the daily chart here. And that's where you kind of start to see some concerns. Now, forgive the messy chart for just a second here. We have seen a sizable bear market bounce on Tesla of almost 100%. And in fact, some of you might be wondering, how long did that take? Well, I'll tell you exactly how long that took. That took a full 100% move was accomplished in just 33 days on Tesla stock, okay? It reminds me a little bit of Bitcoin in a way. Now, you can see that Tesla is not new to seeing huge spikes, okay? Even after we started downtrending, we saw 2, 3, 4, 5 monstrous pumps, generally being over 50% pumps, and immediately followed by gigantic drops of 30% plus, okay? So you can see here that, needless to say, Tesla stock is extremely volatile, okay? And we're currently undergoing one of these volatile moments where we just finished seeing this massive drop. Now we're pumping. I said that we could easily go as high as $210. In fact, we might even make a run for that 200-day moving average, or we may even try and stretch out to close this previous gap up here, okay? In fact, that would be definitely a little bit concerning, because if we close that gap up here, we don't really have any more targets in terms of gaps above, which means that we could be at serious risk of seeing the price crumble back down, especially considering that we have left 3 massive gaps on the chart, and that's not even considering some of the lower gaps we have here, okay? So Tesla is a stock that I'm actually very bearish on, unfortunately, in 2023 in the medium term here. So I mean, we already dropped 75%, okay? So like I said, right, asked anybody while Tesla was ripping if they thought Tesla stock was going to drop 75%, and no one would have said yes. I've been calling this for months now, And not only have we seen that, okay, yes, we have seen the bounce, right? Meaning that right now from the high, we are back to only down 50%. Not that that's good in any type of way. But unfortunately, I don't even know if the drop is over here. I am still expecting us to close this gap down here, which means, you know, we could be looking at an 80% drop here still. So not pretty for the Tesla's chart. I mean, we are basically confirming the pattern as we speak. We are still downtrending. We have not broken out of the downtrend. Do not get ahead of yourselves. To top it off, we have just gone into overbought territory again, and you'll notice that in a downtrend, in a strong downtrend like this, being overbought is not a good sign. Okay, that's a typical short opportunity, and you'll see that if you had done that any single time we were overbought, right, the market crashed very shortly thereafter. At least Tesla stock crashed very shortly thereafter. I think this time is going to be absolutely no different. Okay, so just one big bait to you know, gather up all the dumb money, and absolute dump, sinking it right back down to $112, and then a massive flush down to $75. So very, very ugly chart setup. Like I said, we have already confirmed now this inverse head and shoulder pattern, and you're seeing it play out live. Just because we're getting a small relief bounce is completely irrelevant, okay? Plus, we're coming up on massive support, a massive resistance at $210. So yes, not pretty and not bullish here for the Tesla stock. Please let me know down in the comment section below any other stocks or you know, any questions that you have about the stock market. I'll gladly answer your questions. I just need to know which stocks you want me to take a look at. If you want me to take a look at stocks that have been more bullish recently, just let me know which stocks down in the comment below. I'll take a look at it. All you got to do is drop a comment down in the comment section below. These live streams are meant for you. They're meant to answer your questions. Also, please consider supporting the stream with a super chat if you enjoy the daily content creation that I give to all of you. That can be done right near the comment section down below with that $ sign emoji. Just taking a bit of a water break here. I'm still waiting on any questions that you have. So any other stocks out there, just let me know. And there's a few that I'll cover in the meantime while I wait for any of your questions. Wanted to do Alibaba stock, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that over here. Let's see. Now, this has to do with all the Chinese stocks, right? So a little bit of a different pattern, maybe. So, of course, for Alibaba, right, one of the worst performing stocks in the last year. And keep in mind that this was, you know, one of the strongest and biggest stocks out there. We have broken out of the downtrend, okay? So that's something that you might have noticed with the Chinese stocks, is they actually did break out of the downtrend. With that being said, very similar to Tesla, we have left a whole slew of open gaps here, and pretty big open gaps as well. Now, for Alibaba, I don't necessarily feel like we're going to fall lower again, because we did break out of that downtrend. However, based on the gaps that we have here, and we have gaps above, I think we're going to get very range bound here. Between $75 and $120, I think we're going to get extremely range bound for several months on Alibaba stock. So pretty straightforward analysis there. And then I want to cover some stocks that have been performing pretty well. So let's take a look at Exxon Mobil, for example. Right, all these oil stocks have been the strongest performers. As you can see, beautiful picture perfect uptrend over here. And we'll dive into, you know, of course, the macro economy is why something like Exxon Mobil is doing so good, you know, with how pumped up oil has been. And you can see that this is a chart that is not free from gaps, but has not ended its strength just yet. Okay, we have actually broken out to new all-time highs, but I will warn that, you know, there are people who want these oil companies to crumble, and that's almost what happened back here, okay, with the massive crash. And unfortunately, I think that could happen again, but it's not going to happen just yet. Okay, I think all these gaps, unfortunately, are going to be closed. Okay, so also about a you know, even over a 50% drop on Exxon Mobil. It's going to be disgusting, to be honest. It's going to be very, very ugly. But what is important to notice here is the fact that we have not lost the $105 support level, and we also have not lost the uptrend. I will say, however, that despite our very nice uptrend, we do have a slight bearish divergence on the RSI here. So I think we will slowly start to come up on some weakness, and you know, that could still take several weeks, maybe 2, 3, 4 months, maybe even 5 or 6 months, but we should start to see the weakness come back in due to this bearish divergence slowly forming on the RSI. And then one of the other stocks that I wanted to cover today is going to be Nvidia stock. Okay, Nvidia stock is also kind of now of course it got hit hard like many of the tech stocks out there, but it does have a industry that's a little bit different from the rest, right? All the semiconductors. This was one of the strongest stocks in the bull market, and like many tech stocks out there, right, it got crushed. Okay, actually at the peak bottom, 68% drop. Now I think this is a little bit overdone, right? I think the semiconductor space with Nvidia and AMD are some of the best positioned stocks in the stock market. Now, of course, they have pumped up quite a bit, so it's not as nice of a buying opportunity as it was down here, but I just don't see how these stocks will not continue to grow over the next years and decades. Okay, with that being said, we need to look at the chart in more detail. Now, on the positive side, okay, we had closed this gap over here, so it is not looking like we're going to go back as low as we were during the peak drop, which is of course great news if you hold this company. However, we do have a little gap right over here. Okay, just one though, so it does look like we are gonna eventually come back to this $150 level. My guess would be that we're gonna test this sooner rather than later, and other than that, we do have a lot of gaps above here. Okay, so very, very bullish on Nvidia stock. Now, what I like here is I think we're going to have a situation with Nvidia stock where most likely we are going to come back down lower, but I think that we should manage to hold fairly well and consolidate a bit and then start closing the higher gaps up here. Okay, so that's kind of what I see happening for Nvidia stock. And let's see, we'll go ahead and take a look at AMD here just to see if there's any similarities or differences. As for AMD, we are working with a little bit of a different set of circumstances. Okay, first off, you can see that we have these ranges here for AMD. So of course it did see a massive rise during the bull market, but all throughout this we set these ranges basically. So I'd say we have two big ranges here. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove what I just drew, and I'll draw this more neatly with some rectangles here so that it's easier to see what I'm talking about. So I'll go ahead and pull out the rectangle tool. So our first big consolidation zone was over here. Okay, we are obviously quite a bit higher than that now. And then we have this other one, which was this area up here. Okay, specifically referring to this area of consolidation back here. Now, as you can see, we came very close to this lower gap. Arguably, if I raise this a bit, we tested this area, right? This lower rectangle consolidation zone, and we bounced off it as support. And it's kind of a funny chart setup. We have like this no man's zone over here, right? And we have this one triangle here and this other triangle up here. Now, what's good with this chart? What's good with this setup is first off, we came pretty low, tested support. So that seems to be out of the way for the time being. That was a 65% drop. And now what I like with this setup is, yes, we do have one or two gaps here. We have this gap right around, let's see, right around the, if I can pull out my proper tools here, we have this gap right around $65. And we have this other gap a little bit higher at $75. Now, from the current price, right, that could be a 10 to 25% drop. Not the end of the world, right? Considering how much we fell. But what I really like here is we have this uptrend that has held. And on top of that, now we have kind of double support, right? Because we have a lot of support in this area. And if we do fall a little bit lower, we have this massive uptrend line to hold us up. So it seems fairly unlikely that we would go necessarily much lower than that, but it isn't impossible. What's good is we do have some barriers to prevent that from happening as of right now on the chart with this uptrend line and this support zone over here. And even below that, right, this other support zone. So we got several strong layers, I'd say, of support to hold up the price here. And also no bearish divergence to notify on the actual chart or MACD indicators. If anything, right, the indicators are looking even a bit stronger than the actual price itself. So that's also a good sign. Pretty good looking stock in my opinion. Back to the highs here, we actually have a very nice move of 91% just back to the all-time highs. So Very, very good looking chart here. I'm glad I took a look at that because that chart is looking great in my opinion. Any stocks out there? We have 4 live viewers. Please smash that like button, show your support, and also consider dropping a super chat to help support this live stream. I will be taking any of your questions, any of the stocks you want me to do an analysis on. Now is the time. So don't wait. Put a comment down in the comment section below, and I'll gladly answer your question. But you got to let me know because otherwise I can't know which stocks you want me to cover. I covered personally all the stocks that I wanted to in this video, but I love to cover any questions you have or any specific stocks that you want me to quickly take a look at. I'll gladly do so. Just let me know down in the comment section below. And also, if you want to make sure I see your comment or you just want to support the channel, consider dropping a super chat. Just hit that $ sign emoji in the comment section down below. Want to see some of your comments, folks? Get to commenting and also like the video. We're at 2 likes, 4 viewers. I know we can do better. So any other stocks out there, now is the time to let me know what you want me to cover. Just leave a comment down in the comment section below. I'm waiting for your comments, folks. Now is the time. I have built a 24/7 Bitcoin live stream on the channel. So if you want to go check out the price in BTC live, true real-time Bitcoin price, you can easily go do that on my channel now. If you look at the live section of the videos, you'll find that live stream there where Bitcoin is streaming live 24/7. It's the only live stream of its kind on YouTube. There is no other true 24/7 live stream on YouTube. Let me check out Snapchat stock just because I don't know if Nas was referring to it, but I can go ahead and cover that. So let's see how I heard it was doing very bad. Let's see what's going on. So, wow. Well, that is a drop and a half. Let's see. This is kind of the descent into disaster for tech stock. Now we're looking at a 91% drop. That is not something you see very often for stocks. We have huge gaps, you know, obviously, gaps that we could close, but these gaps are enormous. And, you know, this is one of those charts that just looks like a destruction that we can't return from. So, of course, if we were to get a pump, right, we have huge gains ahead, but it comes with quite a bit of risk at this point. This chart is heavily damaged at this point in time, in my opinion, based on the technicals here. We're coming up on this 200-day moving average and instantly falling back down. So I think we're going to see months, if not years, of flat consolidation here for Snapchat stock. The cat is asking about ADA stock. That's to be covered in the crypto live stream, which I might do one later today, but I'll definitely cover ADA for you in that live stream if I do one today. Any other stocks though? Any other stocks that you'd like me to do a technical analysis on? Please let me know down in the comments below. And I think that's going to be it. I'm going to wrap up this live stream and I might do a crypto live stream. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe and have a great day, everybody. I will be seeing you all very, very soon. Stay safe and have a great day. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for those likes. And stay tuned for maybe a crypto live stream right after this one.